اللي محمس كان يجي على الاولمبيكس
خافوا العالم.
شباب
Good evening, good afternoon. Sorry for the minor delay due to some technical issues on the platform. Hope everything is fine. I think it's a interesting week. What's happening in the space? This is episode 222. Uh, Thank you for being with us and supporting us. So don't forget to like and share this episode. So, with that, we'll dive directly into what's happening in the world. Tay today will not be joining us, so I'll be doing this alone. So, thank you for being part of this episode and then trying to really bring some new aspects to how the world of cryptocurrencies and the world of blockchain in our region, Middle East and North Africa, is really working. So, without further ado, uh, let's start. The first, as usual, we would like to always remind you of how crypto fraud is really something very important to us, and then how um, you should protect yourself with it from physical wallets, ledgers, and so on of uh, platforms, multi-factor authentication, not sharing your password, your keys, or whatever. Just make sure that you don't fall a victim of any email phishing, which is super important because uh, the more we hear, the more the attacks are coming. So with that, there's some other new highlights today that we will highlight regarding Apple. So if you are an Apple user, stay tuned to know what is the issue. Don't forget to like and share and join us every time we are live. Press that notify on YouTube. So, if you are an Apple uh, user, recently you have received uh, an email or sometimes a multi factor authentication request from your email from Apple that you have requested a multi-factor authentication to log into your Apple ID. So why is this super important for the crypto world? Again, we are living in a very fast digital world where things could take a toll. So if they control your mobile, if they control your cloud, guess what? Easily to control everything else. So by resetting your email, by resetting your multi-factor authentication, by sending you SMS or whatever other types of MFAs you have, it becomes super easy for them to be able to uh, get hold of your wallet. So that's why it's super important for you to be able to join and protect your account as we move. So this is our first news, just an alert of how spam today or actually attacks are being driven, and especially today on the Apple users. So we'll move to the second news, which is KuCoin, which was a really sad news today of how they were not able to, um, how do you call it, regulate their stuff. So this is where the U.S. Department of Justice charged KuCoin, a major cryptocurrency exchange, its founders for failing for anti-money laundering rules. Similarly, well, here it's the SEC, the U.S. Department, where the other one was with Binance, with the SEC for different similar reasons. But basically, KuCoin allegedly didn't properly check who their customers were and ignored the suspicious activity that was happening on their platform, which is also against the US laws for financial institutions. That's why they require a KYC. That's why they require a transformation or transfers notifications and so many other things. And for example, one of the exchanges I work with, they actually get and receive all of the transactions that you actually do. So you are always monitored. So here the founders are accused of doing this on purpose, not by mistake, to attract more users, including those especially from the US, because again, once you operate in the US market, you have a US license. It's not a general license, so you cannot actually touch an American or a US citizen legally unless you have a license in the US. So they have processed billions of dollars in suspicious accounts. So that's why they got notification that they are felony, and those users or those founders are really accused of doing that on purpose, which includes different types of transactions. So they haven't been caught yet, which is, not a fair game so far, but they could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted. And now we're going to be seeing more and more rules, regulations, and lawyers taking care of this to crack down on other crypto exchanges also that is operating in the US. So it's really a funny funny status of what's happening in the world of regulated cryptocurrencies and crypto exchanges. And now we're seeing them how and more regulations and more scrutiny is happening on this space. Second news is none other than the giant, which is Swift, which is planning to launch the new central bank digital currency platform in the next 1 to 2 years. Now, we've seen Swift trying to shake his, I would say, kingdom after Ripple directly is in competition. That's where we saw biggest hack happening on the platform in 2019, where more than $100 million was stolen from Swift. So they had to reinvent, renovate their platform. They had to reinvent, renovate their cybersecurity measures, and that's why you have to be Swift certified with data center, how you place your servers, and so on and so on. And of course, using multi-factor authentication. But that's not enough. Now, because they have that kingdom, as I'm saying before, of having the network of being in all banks, they are trying to leverage this network where they now can launch a central bank digital currency global. So this is the power of having the Swift network. If you are a government who is creating or developing your own CBDC project, let's say, for example, El Salvador, or the US or whatever. Now, how do you make it cross-transferable to something else? This is where you need possibly one of the Swift solutions that might be. We still don't know the details. Is it the best for this decentralized world? We know that CBDCs are centralized. So will they be offering, that interchangeability between a country and another, a product or another, a currency and another, using the Swift system? We don't know yet, but they have started. I'm sure they've been testing for a while, but now for them to be able to, launch more tests, understand more, and then get the benefit of this network. We'll move on to our third news, which is London Stock Exchange to launch the crypto ETFs on May 28th, so in 2 months' time exactly. We have seen this happening on the US Stock Exchange, so I guess it's time for the counterparties on London Stock Exchange to start trading Bitcoin and possibly Ethereum investments if it is, in due time. So this follow an approval from the UK financial regulators. However, only institutional investors will be only able to buy and sell those crypto ETNs. And then we're talking about exchange traded notes here. So this is something new on top of, the ETFs and so many different things. Let's see how will this fold, because this is something kind of a new financial product also. We're waiting for the ETFs of the Ethereum as it folds to see how will this be treated in the world. Otherwise, if you have any question, I'm here to take your questions and, be able to support you and then grab the possibility to help you. We have some other technical issues that are looming as we speak in the background. So I will try to take your questions. If there is none, I'll just go for the quick. excuse me. So for any questions, don't forget to jump them in the chat in the below if you are joining from LinkedIn or from YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, depending where you are on which platform. Now, we have, I think, a question, and the question says, what is ETN versus ETF? Yeah, now we're starting heating. We heard first what is ETF, where before it was launched in the US market. So ETN and ETFs, where ETF is actually a basket of assets like stocks, bonds, and commodities that reflect the benchmark it tracks. So you basically own a piece of this holding of the ETF, where ETNs is unsecured debt obligation issues by financial institutions like banks. The issuer promise a return on the benchmarks. So it's a bit of a different of financial instrument. Um, there's risks in both, but ETFs are considered less risky because kind of you're owning something, where ETN holds the carries credit risk. If the issuing banks, for example, goes bankrupt, the ETN could become worthless, where in ETF it doesn't work this way. Also on the ETF taxes, ETFs are taxes can be distributed on dividend or on interest, where on ETNs, you don't pay out income, so you only pay capital gain when you sell your ETN profit. So there's some minor differences, but one is more riskier than the other one, where one is secured and the other one is somehow unsecured. All right. So with that, I'll move to the second. Okay. Ali, Swift is a giant. Indeed, Ali, Swift is a giant, even though it is an outdated giant. We could say today, with all of the updates that they have done, I've personally been involved on the Swift network trying to help organizations, to move forward. But I still see it as old. Now we don't know, much about the utilization of blockchain. We don't know much about how this new system of CBDC will be playing. We don't have that much of the info at this point of time. But hopefully, we'll move forward and then we learn as we move. So, with that, if there's no other questions, would like to wish you a beautiful week and see you soon with another episode of Crypto Talks. See you next week.